Hey guys, I'm sorry about the late start today, but we're gonna go ahead and hop right back in. Totally my bad, I've been sleeping still. So, alright. Low morale, low supplies. I forgot we were in a bad way. Fuck. The God's Code for Ingrid, Goddess of Knowledge, looks on as the caravan takes a much-needed rest. Ivor shoots some children away from a solitary dredge slinger lying dead beneath the stone. Should we be worried about that, you ask Ivor, pointing to the dredge body?
I don't think so.
Still, couldn't hurt to have a few guards look around. Hours pass without warning. Ingrid's Godstone is carved with ancient runes which don't make much sense to you, though Avon tells you some of the Menders have deciphered them. It's how the Menders learned the language of the gods. Past the largest stone, a long series of slabs contain more writing all the way down the hill. The odd thing, he tells you, is that the writing occasionally changes depending on who is reading it. Usually it describes the history of the gods, but it can be about nearly any topic. Sadly, Avon doesn't know how to read it himself. Juno could, he says. Back up and move on. As you're ready to depart, you hear screams from near the main godstone. The same boys so curious about the dead dredge before are shrieking and pointing. For a moment, you think it must not have been dead, but then you see they have opened a wrapping that was in the dredge's hand. Wait, says Ivor, his arm across your chest. This shouldn't be seen. Get everyone away. A chill sweeps over you. Olette pushes past and gasps. Stop! Shouts Ivor, but curious onlookers have already seen it. What is it?
Leave it.
On the ground before the dead slinger is a small stony figure, its hand searching for something it can't find. That's a baby. The dredge is a woman? We've been killing women? We've been slaughtering women and children this whole time? Leaving them to die?
In a war, it's only the males who fight.
We've been fighting these dredge the whole way. Why are women and with children on their backs attacking us?
They're not invading.
They're running. Everyone stops dead in their tracks. The entire caravan is gathered around, aghast. When I spoke to Juno, she told me something was coming. She didn't know what. A darkness. Something black is covering the world, and the dredge are running from it, just as we are running from them. The serpent, the quake, it's all the beginning of the end. Ivor, you knew? Why? Why didn't you say something? Ivor?
When I was young, I killed one of the Sunder during the Second Great War.
We called it Raise. Every time we would build our defenses, it would flatten them and push us back again. I became separated from the rest of the Yavarl and stumbled upon Raise deep in a snowstorm. Alone. She was nursing. I threw my axe. It twisted in the wind. Her son died in her arms. She was so pathetic, kneeling in the snow. She didn't even try to stop me when I took her head. That's how I killed a Sunder. When I found my way to Grofheim, the Varl wanted to make me Kender, next to be king. I left, walked until I ended up in Skoger, where no one knew what I had done. The only sound is the wind blowing through the trees. For a long time, nobody says a thing, until a child breaks the silence. What do we do with the baby? She asks. A small lump forms in your throat, looking at the small obsidian creature squirming before you. Put it to a vote. While some grumble about leaving it to chance, the caravan votes pretty clearly in favor of leaving the infant behind. It remains beneath the Godstone as the caravan departs. You try to put the whole episode from your mind and focus now on reaching Sigerholm. Ah, we should have picked it up and taken it with us. I've got to hope for some supplies. We are low on morale and low on supplies. So you're making the usual rounds when you hear a rather large debate coming from the area that Varl have gathered. Ivor joins you as you approach.
Ubin, you'd rather be known for falling asleep and dying in the corner of a meat house than battling a Sunder.
No, I'd rather be known for not dying.
Don't even know what you're worried about. I did this hundreds of times in the Great Wars. Take some warriors, plow head first into Dredge, they follow you into the hills, you get lost, now they're not following you.
When you did this 100 times, did they have Bellower leading them?
Have you never heard about the time I hit Bellower in the head with a throwing axe?
What's this about? Careful, my friend. A lot of history getting thrown around here.
The warriors were just noting there's a good number of Dredge on our asses.
Bellower pulling up the rear. This one thinks he can just wander up there and throw them off our tracks.
How about some gratitude? Thought you'd be happy to finally be the oldest Varl in the land, Ubin.
I'd never be happy to lose more Varl, Krumer. Besides, I'm not convinced you're really older than me. Old rivalry you got there.
Comments like that remind me I've already wasted too much time doing nothing. And this old days already be halfway to the battlefield by now. Speaking of which, you coming, Yngvar? You could ask Bellower for your arm back. Don't think so. Not exactly in the mood right now.
Alright, I'll tell Hardabag you said hello. Krumer and a good many Varls head out towards the growing army of Dredge. Is he going to come back?
He always has before.
But this time feels different, I fear. Fuck. I didn't even get a chance to stop him. He just left. He must be not be gone for good. Harsh words from one mother to another draw the attention of the entire caravan. My daughter marries Ragni or no one. That breathing tramp you call a daughter won't provide sons. The insulted mother bares her teeth, ready to attack. Explain yourselves. Ragni chooses my daughter on his own, the insulted mother says, but this one thinks I have something to do with it. Launching forward, the first woman flails Matt wildly, shouting, "Liar!" The women are separated and eventually calm down, but you worry that this is far from over. Okay, well, we'll only suffer like 2 days without supplies before we get to Sigerholm. Gather round, doubters, echoes a shout in the distance as Krumer and his band of warriors break through nearby foliage. And behold, the invincible Varl! The caravan is thrilled to see Krumer return safely. Did the plan work? Asks Ubin. Work? Responds Krumer. Of course it worked! Same old dread should be another day or two before they at least even find their own asses. And, if you apologize, I'll tell you how I found these, Krumer says, tossing a pair of leather gloves that look big enough for a Varl. He leans in close, whispering so Ubin can't hear.
Had something to do with a raven's nest and a hair tie.
As Sigerholm approaches, we fear the worst. The once calm lake surrounding it now looks like a bowl that has been flipped. Proud homes sinking into muddy water. A side effect of the quake. What has the rest of the world become on the other side of those mountains?
We got a decent amount. Sorry about that, guys. We got a decent amount of renown, so we should be able to buy more than enough supplies. One catastrophe to another, says Oddleaf, as you pull into Sigerhorn. The town appears to be sinking into the lake. Townspeople will peek from dark windows and makeshift hovels further up the hill. No, says Haven, looking frantic. Where is she? He runs to the front of the caravan, looking out over the water. Juno isn't here, and you get the creeping feeling that you're not welcome either. Going upriver looks out of the question. The beach is bare, aside from the occasional skeleton of a ruined fishing boat. You reluctantly set up camp in the sinking town. All I'm saying is, how long are you willing to wait? While taking stock of the caravan, you inadvertently walked into a debate between Oddleaf and Avent. As long as we need to. And I think we need to get out of here. I don't feel good about this place. Why? What's wrong? Something doesn't feel right. The people here are staring at us like those vultures in the wastes. I'm sorry, Avent, but I think Oddleaf is right. I saw a man the whole time we were setting up. He was just watching me. In a creepy way. And how long before the dredge find us here? Juno will come. Just give it a little more time. Rook, listen to me. I need you to trust me on this. Mark it. Spend all our renown. A scuffle was broken out in front of the houses. Thief! Shouts one of your people as a group of strangers flee from your camp. Oddleaf is already running in their direction. They took our supplies! You hear from nearby. God. Damn it! Come on, you shout, and several join you in the chase. You wander onto a beach where some men have been waiting for you. Some terse words are exchanged about whether anything had been stolen. You don't see who draws the first weapon, but ends with the conversation dead. Right, she replaced Alette. +3 strength. Ready for battle? Yikes. There's a lot of them. Do a whole bunch of damage. No, fuck off. the way of my archers. Half, so that'll be 5. Yeah. No, fuck off. Mend. Can you not? Can you not? Jeez. Yep, of course. Go on. Down the rest of his armor. And then kill him. Don't mess with a one-handed Varl. He'll still mess you up. Krumer's ready for promotion. You have Ivor's ready for promotion. Mid got injured. Ooh, sweet. 11 renown. The thieves scatter pretty quickly, but when you start laying into them. But when you return to the caravan, you discover why. Even more supplies have gone missing since you rushed out to fight. You gotta be kidding me. You just... I had a nice amount of supplies. Now I suddenly have not a nice amount of supplies. I lost 3 days worth of supplies, and I just spent all of my renown on supplies. A random assortment of people from the caravan confront you. Listen, she says. We don't feel safe here. I don't know anything about the Menders or whatever, but we're going to leave, and I hope you'll join us. Looks like a couple dozen people. Farmers and fighters alike feel this the same way. Wish them well. You give them your blessing, but explain why you can't leave just yet. You don't know where they're going, but hope you'll meet them again on the road as they start their trek back across dry land. You're really worried about her, aren't you? What? Oh, Juno. Worried, but doesn't begin to describe it. If she doesn't find us here, or something has happened to her. Are you sure what you saw was real? It could have been a dream, or I don't know. You were pretty exhausted. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure anymore. Everything is a blur. Don't tell the others I said that. I have to hope it wasn't just a dream. What's it like to be a mender? Being a mender? I guess I never really thought about it like that. It's just part of me. I knew very young that I would join the order. Born into it, you could say. My mother and father, both menders. The guild is for lots of people now. Builders and healers. Do they all pull lightning from the sky? No, that's not normal. It's one of the reasons I know Juno. She's one of the council. She helps me control things like this, so we don't end up scaring people. How exactly does weaving work anyway? Well, the hardest part is usually seeing the threads. Everything is part of a tapestry. It's made of threads woven together. If you can see the threads, you can manipulate them. I don't know exactly how to explain it, really. It's like trying to play a harp with invisible strings. Look at my staff, for example. Some menders carve intricate patterns into the wood to help them remember the shapes of... like I said, hard to explain. You think about what to say. Why is Bellower still following us? I saw Grofheim as it burned. Edwin gets a faraway look in his eye. The sunder blew through like a tempest. The Varl fell in 1,000. Most of the sunder left the city and headed south. Who knows where they are now? They might be destroying every town they come to, or heading towards Arborag. Bellower stayed in Grofheim, just for the sport of it, I think. As we fled to Einerthoft, I thought he must want to wipe that Varl off the map completely. And then he came after us. Maybe he knew Ivar was the one who killed Reyes. Maybe, but let's just make sure he doesn't catch up. Do you think this is the end times? I don't know what to think. I wish I could give you a better answer. Even if we escaped the dredge, the serpent's set of darkness was covering the world. I don't know how long that will take, or what it means even. I'm just trying to solve one problem at a time. The Menders are in Arborag. If we can find ships and make it to the capital, we might have a chance. I won't take any more time. No, it's okay, Rook. I appreciate the talk. It's good to stay grounded. I spent all day worrying about serpents or sunder. I think a lot of people are intimidated or scared, maybe, of me. Don't worry, it's nothing new. I'm used to it. Maybe we can talk sometimes about things that don't include the word ending. Civ Builder or RPG? RPG. It's much more story-based than anything else. A lot of the characters can die really easily if you make the bad decisions. But it's a turn-based combat game with RPG undertones. Like, I can promote my guys using our renown, which is up here in the upper right-hand corner, but you guys can't see that, I guess. We've got 23 renown right now. But we can upgrade our stats there. You know what, actually? Hold on. Nope, that's not it. There we go. We'll just do that. But anyway, so yeah, you can level up your guys with renown, and then they get different stats. Strength is their health pool. It's also their damage pool. The lower their strength gets, the lower their damage gets, but also the lower their health gets. When it drops to 0, they become unconscious. Armor is their damage reduction, essentially. So you got to kind of split damage between both of them. It's very much more of a narrative-based game. It's got a lot of choices you got to make, and some of them mess you up. I don't want to rest here for too long. I'll run out of supplies. Rook, wait, please. She said she'd be here. We need her. You can tell he's terrified of leaving us. He thought he'd be giving up, as though he'd be giving up on Juno. I'm sure she'll catch up with us. I can't wait here much longer. I don't have supplies. Avon takes a look across the lake with a 1,000-mile stare. 1,000-mile stare. Says nothing.
We've got problems, says Ivor. The whole place is flooded. We could try to walk the muddy parts, but it'll be slow going. We could try to float the caravan over the lake, but we might tip or get stuck. Or we just go around the whole thing. But no idea how long that'll take. What do you think?
Oh. Yeah. None of these options are good. Just caulk the wagon and float across, I guess. You spend some time rigging the wagons to float on the water, sealing them with tree sap and whatever else you have on hand. The rest of the caravan finds anything you can float on. Small boats or makeshift rafts, some swim. With a deep breath, you set off from the bank. You do your best to float the various ragtag groups of your caravan across the muddy lakes towards Bearscrag. Things quickly go bad. Between rafts pulling apart or people tipping into the murky water of the lake, eventually you gather everyone up, but you've lost precious time and supplies to the bog. Yeah, I mean, I knew that was going to happen. Every option is going to make us lose supplies there. Like, come on, game. We got 5 days worth of supplies now. I spent 25 renown on supplies. Yeah. Ahead, you find appears what to be a good number of peasants surrounded by brigands. One of the armed men looks over his shoulders and says, "Gods be damned, this is all I need. Listen! Don't interfere. One of these supplies wagons is yours." While remaining silent, the peasants plead to you with their eyes. What's going on here? Nothing concerning you, he replies. Before you start telling me otherwise, these are my clansmen. Thought they could run off with every scrap of food in the village. Now all I want is to move on, so take your share or don't. Let's help them. The man turns completely towards you, shaking his head. Had a feeling you'd not be that type, is all he says before the brigands rush you. Hmm. Alright, we leveled up Ivor. We will go ahead and keep on moving. Okay, 11 and 12. We gotta focus on that archer. Otherwise, she's gonna strip our armor off from range. Big giant Varl. Forge ahead there. No! Of course, he goes right after my archer, even though a gigantic Varl is standing right in front of him. Just kill her. Break some of his armor. Another flail. Cool. We're all just gonna use flail. Yoink. Get him out of here. Come on! Really? And that. Kill this dude. lightning. Rank 3. Should kill at least one of them. Okay. Didn't know it was gonna arc to Krumer. If I'd known it was gonna arc to Krumer, I wouldn't have done it. With the brigands either fallen or fled, the peasants they left behind thank you profusely. It is true what he said when he tells you. We took the food and left. May the gods have mercy on me. I let them die. They hesitantly join your caravan. We got some supplies. That's what I wanted. Oh shoot, I've been muted this entire time. Well, fuck. Avon could have taken control long before now. A shrewd man with ambitions can be very patient. I'm grateful for what you've done to get us this far, Rook. But it's always been about trust. I think it's time to part ways, so to speak. Nothing personal. Suddenly, you gasp for air. When you look down, Onif is holding a knife buried deep in your ribs. Your vision blurs and blood fills your sight. You gasp again. There's a bird whistle, and the camp becomes a blur of emotion. Onif fighters from Frostbeller leap into action, cutting people down. As Odlif turns to fire on the men, Onif runs her through and pulls the blade from her back without even breaking a stride. She drops like a sack of flour. Onif heads straight for Alette, who freezes in unbridled terror. You rise from your feet through the pain. Odlif is dead. Somehow, you find the strength to cleave the nearest traitor in two. You can't find the breath to shout. You think your lung might be punctured. Onif clutches Alette's wrist amidst the commotion, tosses her bow aside, and pulls her into the deep woods. Her eyes meet yours across the campsite. No, her lips say, though you can't hear the words. A dozen men appear between you as Ivor steps into view, as fearsome as you've ever seen him. Fuck. Oddlife is dead? Fuck. Kill this archer. Do as much damage as possible to that archer. Mend Gnolf's armor. Archer's dead. Clean up here. Oh no. Heal. Oh, good. He didn't injure enough. Break his armor. And you're gonna die. The foes lying dead at your feet would regret crossing your path if they weren't dead. Oh, contented. Yeah. I thought Eco was gonna betray us, not Onif. Should have known, but still. Ah! And Oddleaf is dead! Where's Alette? Shouts Ivor, tearing through the nearest bandit, but you're already hobbling into the deep woods where they disappeared, ignoring the battle raging behind you. In a haze of pain, you start thinking you lost their tracks. Then you hear Alette screaming in the distance, followed by silence. You tear through the trees. In the small clearing, Alette lies with her back against a tree, her hands and her clothes covered in blood. She stares vacantly ahead, unblinking. Besides her is the body of Onef, an arrow buried in his right eye, as if placed there by hand. She looks in your direction, and then at Onif. I killed him, she says. Alette, are you all right? You cringe from as much from the pain as the appearance of Alette after her bloody struggle with Onif. No, I'm not hurt. I had no choice. Dad, your chest! You're bleeding! Suddenly, she's at your side, putting pressure on the wound. I can fix this. Where's my needle? Oddleaf! Anyone! Ivor! I found them! Just as your sight goes black, you see Avon, Ivor, and Alette standing over you. He's going to make it? Your eyes open to the sound of Alette's voice. Normally, a wound like that. I only hope I did enough.
I'll survive.
Dad! Alette stops herself from hugging your bandaged chest, pulling your head to her instead. The words come out easier than you expected. Oddleaf? It's a good thing Avon was here. She's going to pull through, though it was a nasty wound. I managed to kill some of those traitorous sons of bitches, and the rest fled into the woods. There were a lot of people I couldn't save. You did everything you could, Avon. Nobody expects you to raise the dead. Avon frowns deeply, putting a hand on his forehead. Why did Onef do this, Rook? He was talking to you right before it happened. He'd been planning it all along.
I think that much is clear. Ekil could have killed a good half dozen of Onif's men, by himself. He told me Onif was running around Frostviller the whole time. He left Frostviller behind when he saw a better opportunity. Guess that relationship is over. Ekil has always been the barking dog you put in the yard to find out who your enemies are. It was no accident Onif went after those of us from Skovir. He must have thought with us gone, he'd take the banner and the rest of us would fall in line. Or at worst, they'd take all the supplies for themselves and leave the rest of us as dredge bait. We have to be more careful. We can't just let anyone join the caravan anymore. No, nothing changes. We're not like him. You're a better person than I, Rook. None of this changes the fact that Bellower is out there still somewhere, following us. The swamp around Sigerhorn might buy us some time, but we're gonna have to keep moving. Your body aches all over, but Ivor's right. The road calls. The caravan is already starting to pack up camp. Let's talk to Oddleif. How was the wound? You notice Oddleif wince as she rises to greet you. Just doing a lot better. When I saw it happen, I thought for sure, well, I'm glad You would have missed me, Rook? She smiles. Without Haven, that's all you could have done. Instead, you have to put up with my crap a little bit longer. It still aches like you wouldn't believe, though. Oh, maybe you would. Heard you took a stabbing yourself. I guess things could have gone worse. How are you doing? I'm doing alright. Sometimes it's lonely since my husband died. I guess I say it's more like being alone, even surrounded by all these people. Not like I don't have to worry about that, though. I'm glad to have Alette around. And you, Rook. What do you think about the caravan? You mean, should we start kicking people out? That's a tough one. Usually I'd be the first to give you a dirty look for suggesting it. On the other hand, I got a sword in my back. Oddleif thinks for a long moment before sighing. Don't send anyone away. Just make sure nothing happens to Alette. I'll let you get some rest. Okay, thanks. I'll take you up on that. You know, you're welcome to keep me company. When I'm a little more awake, I mean. I'll talk to you later. Ekil didn't stab us in the back. Look who it is. Still not dead. How are things, Rook? I can never guess with you, Ekil. I heard you helped drive off the traitors when Onef attacked us. And it leaves me wondering, what's your deal? It's not so hard to understand. Why don't you try asking instead of telling? Why'd you stick with him? I don't know, Rook. Family makes you do weird things. You know what the worst part is? We became kin when he married my sister. She died of a fever one night. But she didn't. She wasn't sick. He killed her. I also don't know why he did it. Maybe he just felt like it. I was so furious. I got so angry that I wanted him to beg. I could kill him without a second thought, but that wasn't enough. I wanted him to feel sick about it, puke his guts out, and somehow that turned into... Over time, he never cared, and I gave up and did what he wanted. Don't know how it happened, But when I attacked you in Frostpillar, guess I'll just say that wasn't my idea.
Why didn't you warn us about Onef?
Didn't I? How many times did I have to call him a traitor before you got the message? What do you want me to say? Watch out. Onef's gonna murder your whole family? He didn't fill me in on the details. He was always like that.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to convince you off to me. Tried to convince you to off me. But listen, I don't need to know. So keep it to yourself. You're welcome to stay with us.
I had no plans to go anywhere. So you're going to let me walk around with my own axe and everything?
That doesn't mean I'm not watching you.
I can accept that.
You're a good man. I need to get going.
All I need is to take a piss. You're not the only busy man around here, you know.
You shake your head as Echo steps away from camp. Who's all injured? Mogan's still injured for a day. Krumer's still injured for 2. Rook's not. Oddleaf is not. Okay. That looks like a town. You might be able to buy some supplies there. The caravan consists of more clansmen than you ever expected. Accusations of stolen chicken, and missing heirlooms, and concerned over daughters' virtues are the sort of things you hear relentlessly. Even if fighters complain about spreading too thin to protect everyone. Form a council to handle these problems. You select a few older members to solve everyday issues, but the infighting neuters their progress. Other members feel they could do a better job. Ultimately, while it buys some time, the council dissolves, tired of the thankless and demanding work. Get us to the city before we run out of supplies. Please? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes! The villagers here are completely oblivious to the coming destruction. All we've seen is some dark figures far off, they tell you. Aside from a few young families, they're reluctant to pick up their things and join you. Yeah, we're gonna spend all our renown. Leave. It was just a supply stop. Damn, it's good to not have more than 10 days of supplies again. Just, you know. Don't mess it up. A gaunt man and woman approach the caravan, hands held high. A word, friend, the man says. We are poor farmers down on our luck. The woman hits him and says, Psst. We're outlaws, plain and simple. 10 of us. I'll help you in a fight. For some food up front. What are your crimes? Misunderstandings, the man says. Mead houses are confusing. Never know when you drank your share. The woman hits him again. We've stolen, killed a few men when we had to. Skills that might benefit you out here. Join us. You'll be watched. The two quickly shuffled to the supply wagon as 8 more bandits emerged from the wilderness. They gorged themselves on salted fish and cheese, taking the time to thank everyone. After eating, they politely keep to themselves. Another godstone up ahead. A mother's scream flooded the caravan. Her daughter lies dead in a tent. We all know who did this, she spits, staring directly at the woman she scuffled with previously. Murder? Over marriage? In these times? Something must be done. The accused woman remains silent. Leave it to a vote. You listen as the clansmen deliberate over the death. They finally agree to banish the accursed mother and her family, but no take joy from it. You don't expect to see them again. It's another godstone. The imposing godstone of Bjorulf approaches. His severe visage makes it even more feel like he's watching you even now. The caravan spreads out, happy to be free of the confining forest and in open fields. Hogan pulls you aside to show you some red berries growing on an ash tree that looks like it was chopped down. These shouldn't be growing here, he says excitedly. Haven't seen these in a long time. He and Mogan busily go about collecting the berries. In fact, in honor of Bjorulf, some of the caravan crack kegs of meat and wine before anyone can stop them. To the only god that matters, they shout. Everyone drinks, and you're glad for the merriment that has swept over the caravan. Inspect the godstone. You look up the godstone. Bjorulf's head surrounded by images of casks and drinking horns. Though he was always depicted as being stern, Bjorulf was one of the most popular gods of men in Varl, the one who taught them how to brew. Seems like more than coincidence that the long fields around Bjorulf's stone have always been excellent for growing anything you could need for a good drink. Join them in collecting the berries. What exactly are these, you ask Hogan. When we would travel to Beauregard with my father, sometimes he'd buy us a few of these, Hogan replies. Couldn't be a luckier find. See for yourself. You try one, and you can feel energy returning to your tired limbs. Not taking a few more would be a wasted opportunity, you figure. As the hour becomes late, the caravan is eventually ready to go back on the road. The day by Bjorulf's stone is one of the few memories that hasn't been tarnished by a specter of bad fortune, you think to yourself. You gained an item, Thistleberry. We got good morale. And there's another city coming up soon. But we don't have any renown. We can't even buy anything in the city. A woman's stifled screams failed to overcome overly concern anyone. It was only a matter of time before the expectant mother gave birth. The caravan is simply excited by this first sign of new life since the trip began. Called for a day of rest and celebration. When the baby's cries replace the mother's, the entire caravan cheers. You raise your drink to the family. Tomorrow, we rest and feast to the strength of long life. Again, everyone cheers, glad to forget their worries for some small time. Sweet, we got just enough renown.
A smattering of farmhouses than a
We should be able to buy more
town.
supplies.
Though judging by stray dredge stalking through empty fields, it is barely even that anymore.
Rainevek comes and goes as a long series of farmhouses, abandoned and crawling with dredge. Your farmers have probably already fled to Beauregard. The farmers have probably already fled to Beauregard. You try to hurry past, but are eventually spotted. Dredge start ambling in your direction. What is that? Points out Olive. Up near one of the longhouses. In the distance, a large person, clothes covered in blood, is cursing loudly and stumbling about. He staggers into a longhouse, laughing. The dredge heading in your direction turn back roaring. They begin to pound on the door of the longhouse. They seem to be holding a grudge against this particular person. You doubt the door will hold long. Let's rush to help. Against my better judgment, we should probably do something, you say. The others agree, even though it means putting them all at risk. As you quietly approach, the dredge have managed to splinter the door and break through. "Hey!" shouts Varl, wearing all red, standing up on the other side of the dredge. "Came all the way up here just for me?" He seems unconcerned about the dredge as he hoists his enormous sword. Sigborn, Gunolf, Ivor, Krumer, Rook. And Avon. Ready for battle! Not a lot of dredge, but enough that I'm concerned. Could be worse. Let's kill this slinger. Krumer up here. We need to break some of this armor. Oh, yikes. $11? Jesus, okay. Deal as much damage to this guy as possible. His strength rating is ridiculous. And he injured Gunolf, of course. Oh no. Stay away from my mender. He's important. Away! Everybody's ready for promotion? He must be ready for rank 5 promotion because he was already ready for rank 4. Welcome to my mead house. Sigborn's House of Mead. Wasn't expecting a Varl this far south. Or this drunk. I can see that. There are people huddled in the corners of the mead hall, looking on with unease. Who are all these people? Who are you people? No. They're my friend. They made this place. It's not really mine. This is much better of his voices. A little bit, yeah. You lured Dredge back to the room full of unarmed people? You lured Dredge back to a room full of unarmed people? What is wrong with you? I am doing voices! I've done plenty of voices. It's hard. All the Varl are big, gigantic people. It's hard to come up with different variations of, deep voices. Come on, I saved everyone in here. They shared some fine drink, the best drink. Wait, I was saving your ass. Remember that part? If you knew you'd come up here, then you could have told me. What do we do with this guy? We're not getting involved. How much meat is left? The townspeople show you a huge stack of barrels filled with quality meat and help you haul them back to the caravan. I'll miss this place. Good memories. With the help, you gather up casks of meat and head back to the caravan. Sig, Bjorn, and the other survivors in tow. The caravan gives you the boisterous Varl a large berth. Gives the boisterous Varl a large berth as you set out to Borisgard. I'm working on my voices. Ugh. What did I do? Sigborn asks. Sigborn wakes in a pool of his own sick. Why am I surrounded by small people? The other clansmen let him sleep off his drunken stupor on the ground, and this morning, he's paying the price. Let's help him recover. Reluctantly, your clansmen offer any food and drink they can scrounge together for the moaning Varl. When one offers thin mead, he pushes it away. In fact, take this away from me, he says, handing you his massive mead stein. Eventually, Sigborn comes to you. I won't get into details, he says. I'm supposed to bring those casks from Reinvik back to Borisgard. I drank maybe half by accident. Point is, Sigborn continues, you don't tell anybody about what happened, and I won't tell anybody about the mead you got, okay? Trust me on this one. You agree, and go back to travel. An old man sits astride an overgrown portion of the trail. You lost yet, you ask? He adjusts the leather strap on his head, and he says, No, are you? He jumps off and shuffles toward the caravan, his tattered clothes revealing no weapons. Well, I've seen better, the old man says, peering into the supply wagons. But I'll join you. He stands next to a fighter, throws his beard over his shoulder, puffs up his chest. The fighter grins, and the stranger exhales, asking, What are we waiting for? Lead the way! You're welcome to join if you keep pace. Keep pace? The old man puffs through his mustache. No fleeter than old O'Noir. And husbands, mind your wives. I'm cursed with a golden tongue, not silver. The caravan enjoys a good laugh as they start moving once again. What is that? Is that a fort? Let's look for it. The sounds of a skirmish alert you to a Varl, surrounded by half a dozen armed fighters. One man spots you and shouts, "Leave us to our business! This Varl killed my father without reason." The Varl is about to respond when a man attacks. The giant swats the blade aside and silently watches for the next assault. Let's hear what the Varl has to say. The Varl shrugs as if unconcerned, saying, "This one's father and I had a business deal. He lied. Now he's dead." "Lies?" shouts the man. "You murdered him over a lie, you coward!" The men wildly attacked the Varl, who deflects them well enough, but you're uncertain how long he can keep it up. Let's go and defend the Varl. Ivor, you say? We could use any Varl with a good sword arm, couldn't we? He nods, readying his weapon. The men immediately back off. The prospect of fighting your entire army is suddenly unappealing. They watch from a distance, shouting obscenities and something about injustice. The Varl turns towards you. "Didn't need the help. But if I'm going to travel, I may as well be with the company of other Varl." He falls in line with the others, and you return to travel. Could be worse.
As we pass steep cliffs, the sprawl of Boersgard comes into view. A city of contrasting rich and poor, opportunity and gamble. Our best hope for salvation, or our graves.
Finally, you arrive at Boersgard, where the walls stretch for miles in both directions and are littered with the bodies of Dredge, Varl, and men. "Excuse the mess," shouts a voice from above the grapes. Looking up, you see a striking Varl, his face wreathed with matted black hair. Movement at the gate catches your eye. Dredge are still banging on the gate doors without luck. "Let us in," you shout. Sigborn pushes past. "I won't be hearing the end of this for a while," he says before yelling, "Open up, Bulwark! They dug me out of Rainvik!" You hear a laugh echoing on the wind as the doors creak. A dozen armed men, led by the massive Varl, make quick work of the Dredge and usher you into the city. You may be interested to know they brought Amenda. "You didn't go to get Amenda. Where's the mead?" Sigborn shrugs apologetically. "I guess the mender will do. Either we've got a chance now, or we're completely screwed." "I'm Rook. We've come a long way, some as far as Skogir. Are you in charge here?" "In charge of the governor, I suppose. Listen, if you have something to tell him, say it now. Otherwise, you're on your own. I don't care where you go, but stirring up trouble is probably the only reason you'll see me again. And it won't be to talk. Menda, come along. We're going to go see the governor." Bolric and Sigborn leave with Avend, who goes willingly, signaling that he's fine. Fane, this is just like Frostviller all over again. "This is nothing like Frostviller. The one in Bearskin is probably leading the Ravens." "Ravens? Is that good or bad?" "It depends on who they're working for. Hopefully, it really is the governor, and not someone trying to strong-arm their way into their seat. I guess we wait for Avon to tell us, if he comes back. I'm not worried about Avon. I'm worried about the army of refugees we brought, who don't belong here." "You're probably right. Nobody ever uttered a nice thing about Boersgard. So, what now?" "We ought to go back to the docks and see what our options are, in case we need to leave quickly. Did you notice the city's guards when we came in?" "What guards?" "I have a feeling the Ravens are all they've got left. Something serious went down. And when Bellower gets here, he's going to walk right through this place without even breaking his stride." Let's keep that to ourselves for now. So, the docks? First things first. Oh. That's super not worth it. If one renown is getting us one supply, we can only get 16 supplies. How many days can we go? An extra 2 days? Ugh, I will take the small hit. Let's buy just enough to get us up to the next day. Plus 1 will, plus 3 will, plus 1 will, plus 1 move. Just spend 4 renown on that. We can promote Ivor to the next rank. We can promote Rook. Rook's got to be ready for rank 3 by now. Rank 5 by now. He's got 21 kills. So if we rank up Ivor to rank 5, we can get 2 more in strength. Which put him up to 15 total, which is decent. We rank up Krumer, we can get him up to 16. Which is still decent, but not quite what I need. Rook can only get more armor or more exertion. So I'm not too concerned about leveling him up. How much do you cost? 10? Yeah, we can always rank them up right before we go into a fight. Let's head to the docks. When you get to the docks, your heart sinks. Not a longship to be seen, aside from the wrecks. Bodies float in the water. Buildings are trashed and boarded up. What happened here? Murmurs Alette. They're all gone, says Avon, approaching alone. So you had the same thought as me. Avon, you're okay. I'm fine. It wasn't a lie. The governor's here. He's in hiding. Why? Since the dredge started appearing, anyone with a ship and half a wit left long ago. People can't leave by foot. Food is scarce, the markets are bare. Boarsgard is a fire's keg, waiting for someone to tip it over. So the governor's paying the ravens to protect him against his own people? And keep the peace, so to speak. It's more like a massacre anytime there's a hint of uprising. Where does that leave us? I promised him the Mentor's protection in Arborog. I don't think he's very popular there. They're going to start tearing this place down to build new ships. We can ride the Ormsa River all the way to the capital, leaving another perfectly good city behind. How long will it take to build new ships? Hold on. What happens to the people living in Boarsgard? It's the best I could do, Alette. He thought it could take as long as a month. We don't usually make ships out of scrap lumber. As soon as people figure out what's going on, there's going to be riots in the streets. A month? Why bother? Bellower will be here within the week, if not sooner. I'm open to suggestions. Gods be damned, is there no end to this? Ivor roars in frustration, leaving you standing by the docks. Alette gives you a worried look before chasing after him. Avon, what do we do about Bellower? Avon says nothing for a moment. I don't know. You find Ivor standing on the city walls, overlooking the fields outside. Dredge are keeping their distance, but continue to gather. I'm okay, Rook. Ivor cuts you off before you can say anything. You know he's been through worse. Just feels like someone could cut us a break every now and then. If we want to be standing a month from now, we're gonna have to be prepared. What did you have in mind? First off, our clansmen need a place to stay. They'll get torn to pieces out in the streets. I'll keep an eye on the dredge up here. If they break through the walls, we're done for. So we'll have to keep them back. Could always use a hand with that. We need to know who's controlling what and make sure we get our cut. Food's going to become scarce. And when they start building those ships, we're gonna have to keep people away. What a damn mess. I'll do what I can. Ivor explains, I'm leading attacks with Avon every time the dredge get too close to the gates. Listen, we're going to lose Varl and fighters in Varl every day like this. I don't need to tell you what happens if nobody is manning the wall. We could always use help. You consider what you want to do now, knowing that any of these tasks will likely take a full day. First things first, we need to find a safe place for the caravan to stay. The entire caravan is spread out in the streets where they're attracting attention. We could look for a public house, suggests Alette. Like Frostviller. You could figure that if you made camp in the open, you could at least keep everyone together. Or with people leaving the city recently, there might be abandoned houses you can squat in. Gather them in a public rest house. Most of the caravan convenes in a large rest house that is nearly empty. The owner tells you that people are either afraid to go out in the streets or have already left the city, and they've been attacked a number of times for any valuables. But your people are welcome to stay if they wish. Leave some fighters to protect the house. You take volunteers to keep watch at the rest house, which the owners are thankful for. Hopefully, they won't be missed on the wall, but you feel better knowing that your clansmen will be relatively safe. Ivor points out the dredge along the wall.
There's a lot more of them, and they're getting braver, he says. We've lost a fair number of fighters since yesterday. We could use your help if there's nobody left to defend the walls.
One of your clansmen from the caravan finds you. Just wanted to tell you that everything seems fine, he says, regarding the people in the caravan. There was a little scuffle but with some looters, but the fighters you left sorted everything out. We need to find a source of supplies. We checked around, Odlef tells you, and nobody has food, or they won't part with it for a fair price. And our medicine has been gone for days. They're either gathering the prices, or it's just plain gone. She doesn't say, but you can tell this is going to be a serious problem. Track down the ravens, see what they know. You find the massive leaders of the ravens along the docks, where they're doing their best to keep a growing number of people in check while the boats are being constructed. You could question him about food supplies. Should have brought your own, he says. I can't go giving it out to every person in Borsgard. I'd kill every last bastard in the city for some good mead, though. This place has been dry for meat. Dry for weeks. Offer him the mead. Let me get this straight, says Bolvark. You happen to come through Raveneck with Sigborn in tow, and plenty of mead to go around, is that right? You hesitate a little too long. I'll murder that motherless Yorks, growls Bolvark as he turns to grumble. Bring the barrels and we'll make a trade. The caravan protests when you tell them the deal you made, but when you return with more supplies than you expected, the complaints vanish. This is bad, says Avon, as Ivor points across the field. Aside from the fact that we're up to our necks in dredge, a stone slinger showed up. We've been losing warriors left and right. If we don't deal with it, this wall will come down by the end of the day. Dad, there's a riot in the docks! Alette runs up to you out of breath. They're trying to smash up the boats! When you calm her down, she says the ravens are there, but she's worried that things could get out of hand. You consider what you want to do now, knowing that any of these tasks will likely take a full day. We gotta join Ivor in defending the walls. The stone singer is going to wreak havoc on us if we don't take care of it, Ivor tells you. This will be a rough fight, but we've got to take it down. You ready? Prepare yourself. So let's go ahead and do this. Oh, yikes. Oh, yikes, yikes, yikes. 21 armor, 22 strength. Alright, Ivor, you go first, right? Alright, let's switch this around. Ivor, you need to take that guy out as soon as possible. Rook, go behind. Mender, go over here. You go up here. Go up here. Alette, go behind. Ready. Okay, so the Stone Singer's first. Then it's 13 strength, buddy. When does this guy go? After Rook? Okay. What's he doing? Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Popping his forge ahead. Ow. Okay, no, that would just hit him. We're gonna go ahead and mend Gnolf's armor. Pop as much damage into him as you can. Oh, yikes. Alright, kill that dredge. No? Ow, okay. mend there. I was gonna hope that Alette got out, but she didn't. We can kill this guy. Means we only have to deal with the stone singer now. Start whittling him down. Kill him. Break his armor. Get rid of his armor. Pop that lightning. And then just kill him. Our renown grows. Alette's ready for a promotion. Krumer's got injured. That's fine. We knew that. Alette's been injured. It's fine. We knew that was going to happen. We got 9 renown. That's Bellower. It's Bellower right there. This morning, Ivor says, I saw him. Bellower's here. I think it won't be long now. Awind leans silently on his staff nearby. You consider what you want to do now, knowing that any of these tasks will likely take a full day. Investigate the riots down by the docks. When you get down to the docks, it's pandemonium. Few work on the ships now as the ravens stand over the bodies of people while a huge crowd roars in anger. Bulwark's axes are covered in blood. What happened, you shout, pushing your way through the riders. What did you think would happen? Responds Bulwark coolly. Didn't take them long to figure out we were building ships right under their noses, and they can't have one. You gonna lend a hand or just stand around? Try to calm the people down. You brandish your axe low and try to find a voice over the chaos. It goes wrong quickly when one of the rioters gets a quick jab and smashing across the bridge of your nose, covering your face in blood. The last thing you remember is falling backwards. By the time you can regain consciousness, the riot is finally being driven off. Won't save you next time, you hear Bulwark say. This one's free. You stagger back to the wall with a new injury. Ivor, you begin. Can we really keep this up? Ivor looks like he hasn't slept for days. We've lost a lot of fighters, he mumbles. The weight of the situation is crushing. We have. Oh my god, we have. Then, from far in the distance, you hear a horn. Dredge don't use horn. It occurs to you. Avond appears at your side, just as a long caravan of people come into view, Dredge turning to attack them. Who is that? You ask. It can't be, says Avond. He runs towards the gate. You see their banner? It's Hakon! As you wonder how they got here, the gates are heaved open, and you charge into the field, clearing a path through the dredge. Even he's getting -2 strength. Even while injured, he's still better than half my guys. Don't have enough to promote anybody. Swinger. Oh, come on. How did it not hit him? Well, Avon's just dead. Kill him. Kill him before he summons. Kill him. Oh, nope. Ivor, no! Aww. I think I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to make my archers go first because they do the armor break. And it'll set up the rest of my Varl for more strength damage. Because currently my Varl are just getting in there and having to armor break on their first turn anyway. So if I can get it so that my archers go first and they're behind the Varl will take that first hit and then be able to strength break them immediately after without taking more hits. Juno. I wasn't sure I'd ever see you again, Avon. She smiles as they embrace. Avon is completely taken aback, as though he doesn't dare believe she's real. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to Signal Home. I ran into problems. Problems? Problems is putting it lightly. There's a mile-wide canyon practically splitting the whole world in two over those hills. Couldn't find a place to cross. Worse, dredge are practically falling out of it like blood from a wound. They're not coming from the north anymore. They're everywhere. We noticed. Glad to see you made it out alive, Yngvar. I take it that others didn't? Hakon becomes quiet, then motions towards Juno. She got across somehow. Found her out cold for a second time since leaving Strand. We need every axe we can get right now. Bellower is here. Gods be damned, I thought I was free of that menace. I will deal with Bellower. Come on, no need to tempt him by standing out here. Hakon's caravan enters the city, fighting off waves of dredge as they go. To relief, hundreds of skilled warriors are now safely in Borsgard. And a whole bunch of supplies. Yes. Hakon joins you on the wall with his personal bodyguard, Mogr. Behind him, the Prince Luden stands alone, looking miserable. I have one last trip to make. I need this one to come with me, she says, pointing to you. I'm sorry, Eyvind. You must wait for me one last time. Do not let the city fall before I return. It takes everything within Avon's power to hold back, but he does. She turns to you. Rook, come with me. We'll return in 2 days, maybe less if you're as quick as you look. Tell anyone who needs to know. Where? Why? Not far, says Juno. She pauses and something shifts in your vision. It's for just a moment. I know it's hard, she says, her voice filling your head. And you've already been through a lot. As she speaks again, the rest of the world melts away. But you're needed. You can't find the words to argue. You don't remember leaving the city, but here you are, walking through unfamiliar ground behind Juno. You're alone, aside from the hundreds of dredge who are all facing towards an enormous stone ahead. The hairs in the back of your neck stand up. That's a stone singer. That's another stone singer. That's one we haven't come across. It's got an axe. That's concerning. We are the Godstones of Stravis. You glance around nervously, but the dredge didn't seem to hear her. It is okay. You can speak softly. Is this where you're going to sacrifice me? Juno smiles. What could have come across as profoundly creepy looks sincere instead. No, the dredge cannot see us. To be more precise, they can see us, but I've convinced them to be unconcerned. I can understand your apprehension, though. Juno waits patiently for your reply. Who are you? I'd wish we had time for a proper introduction. My name is Juno, I am on the Menders Council. You have met Avend, my apprentice. How are you doing these things? Controlling minds? I thought Menders built things and healed wounds. You are right. Menders do these things. Some of us still practice the teachings given to the Mother Loom's first creations. We are called Valka. I believe I'm the only one who can influence another's mind. Then why not take control of Bellower? I learned the talent to heal minds, not control them. Though even some of the Valka have trouble believing this. Taking control of Bellower is the difference between convincing a child to sit still and telling a starving bear to stop being hungry. The truth is, we're rarely a match for the Sundar anymore. Our advantage is that we can train more Valka. It is also our weakness. The Valka pass on and lose their knowledge, while the Sundar simply grow older and more powerful. Bellower is both immortal and beyond my influence. To a point. Then how do we stop him? The God of Secrets will play a part, as will you. Juno awaits patiently for your reply. What are we doing here? Why are we surrounded by dredge? They seem to be drawn to the Godstone. There are many things we don't know about Stravas. Maybe they see him as a patron, or it is an attraction they cannot explain. Does Stravas have something to do with the serpent in Einertoft? What was that thing? I don't know. I can't. Can't? I have my suspicions, but until I've had time to look at the Mender libraries, it would be unwise to speculate. For all of our knowledge, it always seems as though we know little. Imagine how the rest of us feel. On the contrary, the less people know, the more certain they tend to be. What are we doing out here? Do you know the god Stravas? Few know this stone exists, even amongst those who have lived their whole lives in Borsgard. While Dinger deals in fortune, Stravas taught me the value of trade in a different way. He showed them that it has consequence. Two sides of the same coin. See the silver in the stone? The gales up there wear away at the stone, but the metal remains. We need a piece of this silver. The god Stravas is wreathed by imagery of silver weapons. The myths say he traded these weapons to the gods, and they used them to kill each other. Those who seek out the stone call him the god of trade. The Menders call him the god of secrets. He was both. Juno waits patiently for your reply. Why'd you pick me? Why didn't you take Avend? You don't even know me. I apologize for putting you in danger. Avend must keep Borsgard from falling while we are away. And if something goes wrong here, I need to be certain one of us makes it back alive. I saw the thoughts of each person when I arrived at Borsgard. You were the only one I know would return. What do you mean? You would find your way back to Alette, no matter what. Let's go what we need to do. Let's go do what we need to do. Indeed. You'll need to dislodge at least a fistful of the metal. We will forge it into an arrow to slay Bellower. Wait, after everything you've told me, make a magic arrow to shoot Bellower? That's all it takes? Why didn't you do that long ago? Juno gets a faraway look in her eyes. No, that is not all it takes. What I tell you now must not be repeated. The arrow will not kill Bellower, even if it were to strike his heart. He has no physical weaknesses. But it will sow doubt in his mind. When it pierces him, it will help him to believe that he is dying. The rest of you will convince him of that with sword and axe. Anyone who fights on your side must believe it to be true. You're going to trick him into thinking he's dead. That is the most insane. He really can't be killed? No. Someday he will awaken and realize he's not dead. I imagine he will be quite upset. First, we must make the arrow. Focus on the task at hand. She looks knowingly at the Godstone, waiting for you to start climbing. Rook, I am not certain how the dredge will react when you do this. And behind us is a sudden drop. So, be careful. Approaching the back of the stone, you start to climb, looking for a loose piece of silver vein. Even without looking onto the dredge, you can feel each sinister face watching you closely, held back only by Juno's influence. Panic races through your blood. Climb higher where it may be easy to remove. As you climb, you can't help but notice the stony mouths of the dredge line up before the godstone, like worshippers before an idol. Just a glimpse nearby nearly immobilizes you. Your hand rests on a piece of silver that comes away easily. The dredge do not react. Do not press your luck. Head back down. You nimbly descend to where Juno is waiting. Well done, she says. As you walk back through the dredge, their heads turn in unison to follow. The dread that lingers, and the shaking in your hand, does not subside for hours. You approach the gates of Borsgard again, relieved that they are still standing. It looks like they took a beating while you were gone. Alette rushes to your side and throws her arms around you once you've crept through the gates. Juno smiles at the reunion and tells you, Take this time with your daughter. Find a smith who can fashion an arrow from that silver. I have other things to which I must attend, but meet me on the walls when you are done. Lightning runestone, 10% critical chance, +1 aggro, +2 to strength, +1 will per kill, +2 will per kill, +1 will, +1 armor. Strength resist would be nice. Let's go to the crafters. It takes a while, but you finally find someone willing to craft an arrow for you. He eyes you suspiciously when you show him the silver, but shakes his head and gets started. Alette watches, the smith's fire reflecting in her distant stare. I talked with Avon for a long time while you were gone. He told me a lot about Juno. Is she really as powerful as he said? It certainly seems that way. This might be the best luck we've had so far. Dad, I think I know what's going to happen now. An arrow? She's going to make you shoot Bellower, isn't she? I don't know for sure. Come on. Who else is going to do it? Ivra? Alette, I know where this is going. You're afraid of me dying. This isn't like before. We can't run this time. That's not what I... Let me do it. That's not an option. What do you do when Bellower comes straight for the person holding the only thing that can destroy him? Let me speak. Everything's changed. Skogir flew so long ago. I'm not asking because I'm afraid of losing you. I'm not afraid of anything. Not anymore. Let me do it because you know I'm a better shot. I have a better chance of puncturing his armor. We only have one shot. I'm not a child anymore. I'm not just some girl. I'm your daughter. I can do this. For once. Let me decide what happens to me. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, guys.